Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt like the stars were arranged in some secret pattern? Along the walls of the temple on Egypt's Giza Plateau, you'll find the flower of life carved into stone, not just a decoration, but a perfect lesson in symmetry, proportion, and cycles. Plato once said that the world of forms, the blueprint of reality, lies hidden right before our eyes, waiting to be noticed. From the very first principle of the Kybalion, the principle of mentalism, drives this home. The universe is really just a grand projection of the mind. Now imagine everything starts from a single point. That dot is the spark of consciousness and the birthplace of every geometric shape. When you make that first mark on a blank sheet of paper and draw a circle around it, the spirals, petals, and grids that spring to life are your mind revealing itself through geometry. It's a bit like an alchemist mixing mercury and copper in a flask. Once that tiny point is activated, the whole design unfolds with startling precision. So, what power makes every form follow the same cosmic blueprint? What rule keeps mountains, snowflakes, galaxies, even your own heartbeat, all moving to the same rhythm? According to the Kybalion, it's no random coincidence. It's the mentalism principle playing out in the world of geometry, a mysterious yet fully decodable cosmic program. Over the next chapters, we'll break down each of the Kybalion's 7 principles to uncover the sacred geometric codes they hide. From point to circle, symmetry to vibration, let's go discover the universe's secret key together. The principle of mentalism. Every form begins as a point of consciousness, picture a pristine white canvas, absolutely untouched. When your pen tip kisses the paper and you make that very first dot, you've just sparked the origin of everything. As the Kybalion teaches, the universe is a mental creation. In that blank space, your mind plays creator, choosing to plant the first seed in the void. It may seem tiny, but it holds the power to unfold infinite, grand designs. From that single point, miracles can't help but happen. Center your dot, draw a circle around it, and you've created perfect symmetry on the page. Push outward from the center, and overlapping rings multiply into the mandalas and flower of life patterns we know so well. These grids, petals, and spirals all shout the same truth. Thought is geometry, and geometry is reality. Once the mind is engaged, every shape, structure, and order reveals itself in geometric form. Go deeper and rotate that circle, scaling it by the golden ratio, then watch as spirals weave together, hiding more complex secrets, self-similar fractals, up and down rhythms that echo life cycles. Suddenly, that lone dot isn't isolated. It's the hub linking all things. Every flicker of thought sends ripples through this geometric grid, sensing matter and spirit in perfect harmony. In ancient alchemical labs, priests used a single drop of mercury as their point, triggering metal transformations and surges of energy. In temple sanctums, they traced mandalas on the ground with a fingertip, inviting divine light to descend. What they all understood was this: your inner thought is the first act in creating a holographic universe. Once that initial point ignites, reality itself can take root and blossom in geometry. So next time you gaze at the flower of life or sketch a circle during meditation, remember this isn't just art or ritual. It's a hands-on exercise in the mentalism principle. Every shape you draw echoes the universe's birth. Master this rule, and you hold the key to crafting reality itself. At that pinpoint of consciousness, any form can arise and any order can manifest. Up next, we'll dive into the principle of correspondence, exploring how the geometry of the vast mirrors that of the minute. The principle of correspondence, macrocosm mirrors microcosm, as above, So below isn't just an old proverb, it's the master key to the universe's design. Picture using a magnifying glass to study a Romanesco broccoli. Its spirals and fractal patterns look shockingly like the arms of a distant galaxy. Zoom in even further to the human body, and you'll find the golden ratio hiding in your knuckles, your ears' curves, even the valves of your heart. Scale is all that changes, geometry remains constant. In sacred geometry, fractals perfectly illustrate this principle. The same rule is replayed at every level. A spider's web radiates like the sunrise on the horizon, yet also mimics magma's veins below the Earth's crust. The veins of a maple leaf trace the same branching pattern you'd see in continental fault lines. It's the same geometric script, performed on different stages. Then there's the mind-blowing golden ratio. Phi approximately equals 1.618. Divide a line so that the smaller segment relates to the larger, just as the larger relates to the whole. You'll spot it in leaf arrangements, seashells, even in swirling nebulae. It's the universe's silent blueprint, reminding us that micro and macro are simply variations of the same geometric play. Next time you wander into an architectural marvel, look up. From the Parthenon's Fouade to a Gothic cathedral's flying buttresses, you'll find golden sections and symmetry axes everywhere. Whether by accident or design, architects have borrowed nature's visual laws to instill a sense of balance and awe, just as an alchemist tweaks scale in his lab to turn silver into gold. Changing size doesn't alter essence. The principle of correspondence teaches us, understand the vast, and you'll glimpse the tiny, decode the tiny, and you'll command the vast. Every symbol, every curve, is more than an isolated pattern. It's a mirror reflecting the boundless universe and your own life. Up next, we'll explore the principle of vibration, how everything in existence dances to a frequency, and how sound, light, and geometry entwine in that cosmic ballet. The principle of vibration. Frequency is the soul of form. In the Kybalion's third principle, we learn that the only difference between anything is its rate of vibration. Everything, without exception, is in constant motion. Think about pressing your ear to a railroad track. You hear that distant train rumbling. But what if you could translate that sound into a visible pattern? That's where sacred geometry meets the world of vibration. Back in the 18th century, German physicist Ernst Chladni ran a violin bow along a metal plate sprinkled with sand. As he changed the frequency, the sand shifted from simple rings to intricate fractal patterns. Those Chladni figures are the geometry of sound made visible. Fast forward to today's somatics experiments. You place water, oil, or grains on a speaker-driven plate and watch as frequencies carve out ocean-like waves, rose-like petals, even complex polygons and star shapes. Every frequency produces its own unique geometric fingerprint. In other words, the numbers behind the vibration dictate the shape, and the shape is the vessel for that energy. Look closer at nature and your own body, and you'll see sacred geometry woven into every pulse. Your heartbeat is like a precise metronome, drawing a life-giving loop inside your chest. Your brain waves alpha, beta, theta are constantly sketching mandalas across your cortex. When your state of consciousness shifts, those geometric patterns reshape, and your inner and outer worlds resonate together. What this shows us is that changing frequency is literally rewriting the universe's geometric code. When you chant, sing, or meditate to raise your vibration, you're taking part in an ancient alchemical ritual using sound and geometry to sculpt reality itself. Up next, we'll explore the principle of polarity, discovering the geometric axis of opposites and how balance emerges in a world that seems split in two. The principle of polarity, balancing on the axis of symmetry. Polarity is everywhere. Cold and heat, chasms and peaks, light and dark. They look like total opposites, but really they're just two sides of the same coin. When you stand at the rim of a canyon, you feel the glacier's chill and the sun's warmth at the same time. Look up at the night sky, and you'll see both sparkling stars and the inky blackness of space. That's polarity playing out in nature. In sacred geometry, polarity shows up as mirror symmetry and multi-axis symmetry. Draw a line through a shape and split it in two. Each half is the other's reflection. Mandalas often use 4, 6, or 8 axes to illustrate how opposites find harmony. The most iconic example is the yin-yang. Two teardrop shapes swirl around each other, meeting at the center, each one extreme yet perfectly complementary as they spin around the same core. This principle teaches us that opposites aren't enemies, they're essential partners. The black and white contrast, the bulges and indentations in geometric patterns, all prove that when two poles are balanced, stable structures and order emerge. Think of a bridge's arch. Forces push in opposite directions, but support each other, keeping the span from collapsing. Or consider music. Half steps and whole steps alternate, and that very contrast gives a melody its emotion. Mastering the principle of polarity means finding your balance point in a world that seems split in two. Between your inner and outer life, between shadow and light, every extreme is just part of a larger whole. Once you learn to flow through geometric symmetry, you'll navigate life's opposing forces with ease. Up next, we'll explore the principle of rhythm, how spirals and cycles let geometry dance with time, revealing the secrets behind every endless loop. The principle of rhythm, the geometric dance of cycles and spirals. Principle of rhythm shows us that everything swings between motion and stillness, rise and fall, as if the universe itself is breathing. If you imagine time as a straight line and geometry as a static shape, then rhythm is what coils that line into countless spirals, waves, and rings, letting space and time dance together on the same canvas. In sacred geometry, the most iconic example is the Fibonacci spiral. Each new curve size equals the sum of the two before it, growing layer by layer, just like tree rings record a tree's life, or a galaxy's arms unfurl over eons. Stand by the ocean and examine a nautilus shell. Every ridge whispers. Rhythm shapes form, cycles beget order. Visualize rhythm, and you'll see sine and Cassini waves tracing graceful oscillations across a plane. These aren't just sound waves, they mirror sunrise and sunset, tide, ebb and flow, heartbeat and breath. Every pulse of your heart sketches an oval in your chest. Every thought wave projects model-like patterns across your cortex. The heavens spin to this same beat. Earth's orbit around the sun is nearly a perfect circle. The moon's journey around Earth draws an ellipse across our sky. Seasons change, day turns to night, tides rise and fall, all are synchronized performances of the principle of rhythm. What seems random in nature can in fact be precisely described by geometric formulas. Ancient alchemists used drums and bells to set a ritual's tempo, coaxing flames into heart-shaped dances. Modern somatics researchers drive liquids with varying frequencies and watch concentric rings, petal patterns, and star shapes emerge on a plate. Rhythm breathes life into static geometry, transforming quiet forms into dynamic sculptures. Practice tip: during meditation, sync with your breath and slowly sketch spirals or sine waves on paper, or use a metronome to tap out rhythmic circles on a surface. Each repeated motion is your body playing the universe's geometric symphony. Having felt how rhythm weaves geometry with time, next we move on to the principle of cause and effect, exploring how every action etches a circular path, binding cause and effect in unbreakable geometric harmony. The principle of cause and effect, the circular geometry of Kybalion's sixth principle, tells us every cause has its effect, and every effect springs from a cause. What seems random is just a pattern we haven't yet recognized. Picture drawing a circle in the sand, then tapping its center with your finger. Ripples spread outward, then bend back and meet their own tracks. This is cause and effect playing out along a circular path. In sacred geometry, the circle symbolizes completeness and endless cycles. Every action you take is like dropping a point on that circumference. As it travels around the arc, it will in some form return to you on the other side. Think of an alchemist casting a drop of mercury into a crucible. Through evaporation, condensation, and rebirth, it returns transformed. Cause and effect keep spinning together on the same cosmic wheel. Even subtler is the butterfly effect's geometric shadow. A tiny change at the edge of a fractal can ripple through the entire system. If you could map the chain of events, you'd see concentric rings and spirals weaving a complex web, every intersection marking a moment when cause meets effect. In traditional mandalas, the center represents the cause and the outer rings the effects. Meditators trace from the center upward, visualizing how their intentions ripple through each layer, eventually looping back to the start. Modern psychology echoes this. Our beliefs, choices, and actions are nodes on a geometric path that shape our life's course. Shift one cause, and the whole ring structure reshapes itself. Practice tip: draw a set of concentric circles on paper. Mark your day's key decisions along the outer ring. Then draw arrows pointing to the results those choices created. You'll be amazed at how your circle of causes and effects mirrors a mandala's design. Up next, we'll open the door to the principle of gender, exploring the sacred geometry of dual energies, where yin and yang converge to spark creation. The principle of gender, the dual energy axis of creation. Kybalion's seventh principle teaches that everything holds both masculine and feminine energies, constantly interacting and balancing on every level. Here, gender isn't about biology, it's the universal dual principle woven into the fabric of reality and consciousness. Projection and reception, creation and nourishment, action and stillness. In sacred geometry, this principle is most vividly shown by the Vesica Piscis, the almond-shaped overlap of two identical circles. Draw two circles so each center lands on the other's circumference, and their shared fish bladder shape appears. That overlap isn't wholly one circle or the other, but a sacred space where both energies merge, birthing new life and fresh information. Extend that double circle pattern, and you'll see star polyhedra, flower petal grids, and even triple spirals, each demonstrating how dual energies weave together at precise angles to generate higher order, or geometric wisdom, and creative forms. Every overlap and separation is part of the cosmic dance of creation. Every intersection a spark of new light. Ancient priests would trace these two circles on temple floors, entering meditation to experience that center of the heart divine balance. Alchemists, meanwhile, alternated symmetrical flames and coolants in their crucibles to purify the yin-yang essence of elements. Through this gateway of duality, energy continuously refines, transforms, and ultimately gives rise to fresh orders in the cosmos. Practice tip: on paper, draw two overlapping circles to form a Vesica Piscis. Focus on the intersection and feel the masculine and feminine energies flowing through that space. In meditation, Envision those two circles as your inner yin and yang. Observe how they interact and how their balance ignites your creative power. As you see how all life is born from this geometric interplay of dual energies, next we'll circle back to the beginning, summarizing the 7 principles and sacred geometry correspondences, and showing you how to weave this cosmic key into your daily life to unlock a brand new blueprint of reality. As we journeyed from the spark of the point to the infinity of the circle, and then through symmetry, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and duality, each of the 7 principles has shone like a beam of light, refracting the universe's true nature in the hall of sacred geometry. You're no longer just an observer. Every model you sketch, every vibration you feel through voice or body, is your own act of creation. In the fusion of mind and geometry, you now hold the key to reality itself. Look back on our path. Mentalism ignited that first point of consciousness. Correspondence mirrored the microcosm and macrocosm. Vibration drew geometry's fingerprint in sound. Polarity taught us to find balance within opposites. Rhythm composed time song in spirals and waves. Cause and effect placed every thought on a circular current. Gender opened the sacred gateway where dual energies meet. Sacred geometry isn't mere pattern, it's the universe thinking itself into form, laws made visible, and the bridge where your mind and the world resonate as one. When you observe nature, meditate, or live through a geometric lens, every line you draw and every shape you breathe into existence reawakens the myth of creation. In our next video, we'll move into hands-on practice, daily rituals, and meditation exercises that use simple geometric acts, stop drawing, circle tracing, breath-led spirals to harness energy, sharpen your mind, and weave the 7 principles into your everyday life. Ready? Let's unlock the higher frequency reality with the key of geometry.